Beautiful faces that show up today for this men's meeting. Bless the Lord. You know, one of the funniest things happened to me today. You know, I prepared my presentation. I guess what I did? I left my laptop open. So now, but I didn't forget the
USB.
The USB. so I'm just gonna go by the screen, right? Bless His holy name. So I'm going to talk to us today on conflict management and how do I manage conflict. And you know, we just want to give applause to Brother Tony,
Amen.
Deacon Tony, for the wonderful job. And I know that it takes a lot to put that together. Right, and we just want to give God thanks for him. He has done a wonderful and a great job, and we just want to give God thanks for that. So, conflict management. How do we manage conflict? And as we have learned this morning, that conflict is one of those things that you cannot avoid. Right? You will always be challenged with some form or some sort of conflict, right? And some of the things, you know, make themselves so bold, so bold. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? And those of us that are in the workforce, we have so many things to encounter. You know, for the past say 9-10 months. You know, I have never been stressed like this when it comes to work, right? And this is one of the things, you know, when everybody is speaking at you, for some reason that you don't know, it's one of those things. I mean, every single person. So now I have to be walking like a straight line. You know what I'm saying? Without any stumbling. Because the enemy is, he's out to get me. Right, that's how bad it is. But you know, I will continue to praise the Most High. So, how do I? So we must manage conflict objectively and calmly by prioritizing open communication, active listening, and mutual understanding. Right. So you know, whenever time you are faced with any form of conflict, you know, the first things we must look at the whole situation objectively and be very calm. We learned about that this morning. And prioritizing open communication. We need to talk about these things, right? And in some cases, like my cases, I cannot talk about it, right? Because there's no one, you know, you cannot go to these people and say, okay, this is what. Because first of all, you know, I mentioned this before that, you know, our company has changed in a dramatic way, right? And the first thing they're going to say that, you know, you are not inclusive, right? If you understand what I'm saying. Right? So when it comes to acting, we're talking about us as a family.
Let me just say this. Can we put that on pause just for a moment and start over? Remember, this is going public.
As family, as congregation, right? We have that right. You understand what I'm saying? Because we are family, right? I have never viewed any of us as outsiders. You understand what I'm saying? Every single individual that comes to this place, I view them as family. We are family. You understand? We have quarrels, right? We have disagreements and we have all different type of things, but we need to manage that, right? Manage it in a peaceful and in a respectful way. All right? Anyway, so we need to be active in listening, and we should have also mutual understanding, right? Instead of viewing disagreement as a personal battle, which we often do at times, right? Most of the times, I should say, we view disagreements as a personal. Why is this person out to get me? You understand what I'm saying? We must address the root cause and work jointly with each other to resolve the matter in a peaceful way. And family, we can do it. The enemy is out for us not to resolve the matter in a peaceful way. You know that. That's his whole objective, right? He wants us to be in constant battle or constant conflict, right? That's his whole idea, his whole purpose, right? Listen to the other person's perspective to understand their core interests, fears, and needs. Keep our emotion in check, and this is one of the things, remember our brother was saying you need to count your finger, all of that stuff. And you need to take some deep breathing and all of that, if it works with you, right? Right, keep our emotion in check, speak calmly, and ensure the conversation remain respectful, right? And when it comes to us as a family, we should try our best not to disrespect each other, right? It doesn't matter who we are or whatever the situation is. We should try to be respectful in all ways, right? I can say this, that since I am here, right, in this congregation, I have never ever disrespect our pastor, Pastor D'Souza, right? And I have never ever disrespect anybody here, right? Even though I'm being pushed sometimes to the limit, right? But I still, I praise the Most High for that, right? For keeping my emotions in check, right? And listen, it doesn't come easy, right? It's years of going through the flame, right? If you understand what I'm saying, right? Separate ourselves from the problem, focus on the specific problem at hand rather than attacking each other, right? Let us focus on the problem. What is the problem, right? And don't attack each other, right? And that's what the enemy does, right? And family, he will use whatever resource it is. You understand what I'm saying? It's whether your family, your friends, your neighbor, he will use whoever it is. And especially us as a family, he will always use it, each one of us, right? So we need, not to attack each other. As soon as the problems arise, we said, okay, this is from the enemy, let us deal with it. Deal with the problem, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go, oh shit, I forget. All right, so our scripture was taken from Genesis chapter 13, 1 to 12. And it is a well-known story, but there are so much things inside of this story, right? I know I'm just going to go through a few things. It was like 15-20 minutes to give me, right? So I will try to cover that up quickly. So Abram dealt with the strife between his and Lot's herdsmen peacefully in prioritizing family unity. So when Abram was confronted with this strife, what he did, he put the strife or the situation, he make a separation, right? And he dealt with it peacefully, because what he was doing, he was prioritizing the family. Family comes first. You understand, family? So anything that arises between us as a church, as a family, as an assembly, we need to put ourselves first, put each other first, right? He took the initiative in confronting the issue directly, offering his younger nephew Lot's first choice of the land, and gracefully agreed to take whatever territory remained. So this is what Abraham did, right? Did I put it there? Oh yes, I did put it there. So the conflict between Abraham's herdsmen and Lot's, Abraham demonstrated peacemaking, selflessness, and deep faith in God. Rather than using his seniority to claim the best land, he prioritized family harmony over wealth, willingly ultimately surrendering his rights to resolve the dispute between him and Lot peacefully. So Abraham, he has all right. He was in the right. Right? And first of all, the Most High did not call Lot. Right? The Most High did not include Lot in the equation, if you understand that. Abraham was the one that does that. And Lot became a thorn in him. You understand what I'm saying? And many times we do that. Right? The Most High called you. You know, he has set out your purpose. Right? And everything, and guess what you do? You try to involve somebody else in the equation because of the goodness of your heart. And that's what Abraham did. Right? And later, Lot became a thorn, as I said, in his side. So listen what Abraham did. Abraham demonstrated peacemaking, selflessness, and deep faith in God. When it comes to selflessness, that is one of the hardest things that we as human beings try, very, very hard for us to do. Right? Because what happens, we try most of all, or most time, in most cases, to put ourselves before anybody else. Yeah, you understand that? Right? This is, and it is just a human tendency. Right? We try to, make everything best for ourselves rather than others, right, at times. So listen what Abraham did. Rather than using his seniority to claim the best land. And that is what most of us do too, right? You know long I've been here. You know long I've been here before you. You understand those terminology, right? I am older than you. Right? I am the firstborn. You understand what I'm saying? But he did not use his seniority to claim the best land. And as I said before, he has all the right to do that. Right? The Most High called him, not Lot. Right? And he was the one that led him, not Lot. Right? He prioritized family harmony over wealth, willingly to surrender his rights to resolve the dispute between him and Lot peacefully. Okay, let's stop. I have a thought that I want to say. Okay, maybe I should do it. Yeah, Abraham recognized the friction between him and Lot and actively initiate a conversation to diffuse the tension. So when the matter arose, Abraham, he called Lot and sit him down, right? And this is what most of us should do at times, And sometimes, we need to take to hear out the scene first, and then come back and deal with it. Because at first, it's gonna be heated argument and all of that stuff. We learn about that. That sometimes we need to step back, right? Let the tension cool down, and then you deal with the matter, right? So, but this is what Abraham did, or Abram at the time, his name, right? What he did, he called Lot, he pleaded with Lot that they should not fight because we are brethren, and that brethren means family, right? He said, we are family, we should not be fighting. You understand? And family, as I said before, I don't call you brethren, I call you family. Because, family meant much more than brethren. You understand? Brethren, you come, you visit, and you go. Family, you deal with every single day. You understand what I'm saying? So I see us as family. So if there is a conflict between us, we need to sit down and talk about it. Right? And many of us, somebody mentioned this morning about sweep the thing underneath the rug. And this is what has happened with most family and a lot of churches, right? Situations arises, conflict arises, and we shove them underneath the carpet. And guess what happened? It's still there breathing dust, mats, and whatever you call it, mites, right? And for years and years, the issue has not been dealt with. And then guess what happened? We talk about the trigger. Years after, the trigger is still there. Someone triggers something and it goes right back to how long. You understand what I'm saying, family? We need to deal with conflict as soon as it arises. Right? We need to deal with it. It does not matter how hurtful it is at times. Right? We need to deal with it. Don't shove it underneath the carpet because it's not going to go away. Right? And we know, some of us know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so Genesis 13:8, and Abraham said unto Lot, okay, so he said, he pleaded with Lot and said, we are brethren, we are family, we shouldn't be fighting. And this is, you see the Genesis 13 verse 8, and Abraham said unto Lot, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my brethren, and my herdsmen and thy herdsmen, for we are family. Instead of asserting his status as the elder and patriarch, he humbled himself to preserve the relationship. And this is what we need to do, family. Right? We need to preserve our relationship. Right? The enemy, from the beginning, we talk so much about the Garden of Eden. Right? The enemy, all his intention is to cause separation. Right? Separation, that's his whole intent. To separate us, and he did it successfully by separating man from God. But the Most High has a plan where even before the foundation of the earth, to send his Son to give us back that union, right? So that's why we are here today, right? So that's the whole idea. So Abraham, instead of asserting his status as the elder and patriarch, he humbled himself to preserve the relationship, right? So he debased himself, not as an elder, but just to hold the relationship together. Abraham gave Lot the first choice because he was more concerned with maintaining a good relationship with Lot, his nephew, rather than building his own wealth. And as I said before, that's what many of us are. We are looking on ourselves. I'm not going to let you run over me because you know what? This is about me, myself, and I. But Abraham stepped back, right? Genesis 13, verse 9. It is not the whole land before thee. Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go the right, and if thou departed to the right, then I will go to the left. And this is where Abraham came, the point that he came to, right? Because he wanted to maintain peace. You understand what I'm saying? So he said to Lot, listen, if you, and he was in all right. And Lot is, I'm saying that this boy is something else. Because he should have said to Abraham, listen, you are my elder. You are my leader. Take the best. You understand what I'm saying? He should have said that. He should have said, listen, but because of, because of his greed. You understand what I'm saying? He should have said, you know what, just like with me and my pastor. Pastor, you know that I appreciate him a lot. You understand? If it comes to to this occasion where I have to choose, I would definitely, even if I'm in my rights, I would give it to him. That's how I am. You understand, family? And that's how all of us should be, right? And I will show you further. Selflessness and generosity. He gave up his cultural rights instead of offering Lot the first choice of the surrounding territory, accepting whatever was left for himself. He was more concerned with the welfare of Lot and than his, right? Can we come to that place where we concern about our another person's welfare than ours? You understand what I'm saying? And here I put it there from 1 Corinthians 10:24. The Apostle Paul instructs believers to prioritize the well-being and faith of others above their own personal freedoms and desires. No one should seek their own, but the good of others. That's tough, right? Prioritizing others instead of asking, what are my rights? believer should ask, how will my action affect my neighbor? You understand, family? I hope we are seeing this. Lot's life illustrates the dangers of prioritizing material gain, worldly prestige, and immediate comfort over spiritual integrity and God's direction. Right? So we know what Lot, where his mindset was, right? Lot subsequently chose the well-watered Jordan Valley, leaving Abraham in the less desirable land of Canaan. Can you imagine that? Right? The Most High call you, right? And the person that you bring along with is going to choose over you the best for themselves, right? You know, as I said, you know, this boy was something else, right? You know, he knows that he knows that it was because of Abraham he was being blessed. He fully well knows that, right? When they left out of the land of Ur, he had nothing. Abraham was the one that has a few sheep and stuff, and he was the one that divided his stuff with him. Now, you understand what I'm saying? Can you imagine you're in a state where you divide your substance with somebody else and that person now turn against you? And I know that many of us sitting here, we have some form of that kind of experience, right? Lot subsequently chose the well-watered Jordan Valley, leaving Abraham in the less desirable. You know what, family? I have never in my life given something that, you know, I don't desire. I have never ever, I can't remember doing that. Something, you know what, I have always given the best. I have always given the best. Sometimes, you know, I'm saying, oh my goodness, this person is not even going to know the value of this thing. But you know what, I'm still going to give it. And many of us, you know, we, that get stuff from people, right? We do not know the effort they put in to get it. You understand what I'm saying? But because it is a, what do you call it? Seecomes. Never seecomes. Somebody know, man. Right? You understand what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what? My time is going, so let me quickly do this. Abraham's generous offer, despite being the elder and the one whom God originally promised the land, Abraham submitted his rights and offered Lot the first pick. Greed. Given by the desire of wealth and comfort, Lot, he took the best land, selfishly ignoring his uncle's Abraham's generosity. You know, many of us have that to deal with, right? Because of greed. Genesis 13:10, and Lot lifted up his eyes, and behold, all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou canst absorb. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves, the one from the other. I am thinking, you know, how can you do this to somebody and live with a clear conscience? And some people are like that, you know, they have no conscience whatsoever. Right? That's what he did. Alright? Immediately following this gracious act, the Most High rewarded Abraham's faith by promising him and his descendants the entirety of the land that he could see. Genesis 13, and the Lord said unto Abraham, what after that was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes and look from the place where thou art northward, southward, eastward, and westward. And I did spoke about this a few months ago, that the Most High, when he called Abraham and he saw that Lot, you know, he dragged the Lot along him, you know, the Most High keep quiet, you know. He kept quiet until this time. Not until Lot separated from him. He showed up. Right? And many times, some of the people that we drag in our lives, they are the one that is causing our blessing to be delayed. It's very, very hard to say this, but it's true. Right? Sometimes we invite some people in our life, and I'm telling you, our stage that we used to be became worse because of what they do to us. Right? It's one of the hardest things to say, but it's true. And the Most High did not show back up unto Abraham until the separation. Then he said, okay, you're in the rocky place on the mountain of Seir. Now you can look all over the place and say, listen, all of this I'm going to give to you and your descendants. When you are trusting the Most High to take care of us, we can give up your rights. When you are fully trusting in Him, right, and you have a personal, intimate relationship with Him, you can give up your rights because you know it's going to come around twofold. You know that, right? But some of us, we hold on to our rights, hold on to it. Abraham did not do it, right? Because he know who made the promise. He know who had made him the promise, right? Daniel 5, the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and He appointed whosoever He will. Remember that. Yeah, I think this is the last part now. Faith and trust in God. Abraham's willingness to give up his rights reflect his confidence in God's prior promises because he knew who God promised. Because he trusted that God would provide for him regardless of where he settled. He did not need to fight or claim the most fertile region. Abraham's reliance on God's loving and sovereign governance over the universe showed his focus on the spiritual over the material. Right? So family, whenever time you know that the Most High or who make you the promise, and listen, I've always said it, the Most High track record is so good. Everything that He promised came true. Right? And if you know without a doubt within you that, you know what, He is, you claim it, He is my provider. You understand what I'm saying? And it does not matter, what people would say, it doesn't matter what the conflicts are. He is my provider. Right? We need to rest on that. Anyway, I think I have overspent my time, so this is it. May the Most High bless you and keep you. Still on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much. I'm just waiting for Danny to put the presentation there. I just want to say that the presentation done by Pastor William was very, very good. One of the key points that I'd like to bring forth is that, and I don't want to repeat it, but it was ringing in my mind, and therefore I just want to repeat it so it becomes a part of you. It becomes something that you're going to take away today. And so, the point is, Abraham was able to say to Lot, take the most green pasture. Take the fertile parts as much as you want. Take all the good places you want. Because Abraham knew who was his provider. Last week in our class, we were reminded that God said to His children, the gold is mine, the silver is mine. Everything belongs to God. And when you know that, like Abraham did, you could give away everything you have. You could say to them, take it, man. When they come forward, say, take it. because you know who your provider is. Welcome to Men's Sabbath. Today we're talking about conflict resolution. And the point is, brethren, once you know who your provider is, it helps in resolving conflict. Once you know who your provider is, you have less stress. Sometimes you walk around like, hey, man, you walk around with the most stress. We become the most stressed people in the world, forgetting that God said, the gold is mine, the silver is mine, everything belongs to you. The cattle on 1,000 hills belong to him. Like really, everything belongs to God. We're just here to use it. The Bible says, occupy till I come. So he gives us all of these things to use until he comes. At the end of the day, brethren, we're going to leave everything. Because it's not ours in the first place. It all belongs to him. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a little bit about conflict resolution. This is going to be a kind of an interactive session. I don't want it to be too long again because some of us are hungry like myself. Conflict resolution. One of the reasons why we have conflict, brethren, is because of a lack of resources. Yes. Lack of resources, and everybody's trying to grab a little for themselves. And some people try to get more than what they can eat. And so they eat until they're so full to the point where they start to get fat like me, So lack of resources is one of the main reasons why we have conflict. One of the other reasons why people have conflict is because they don't know God. And if they knew God, then it would make a lot of difference in their life. Scarcity of resources, lack of confidence in the system, knowledge of God, lacking knowledge of God, all of these things can cause conflict. But once we understand who God is, it makes a lot of difference. So here we have conflict resolution. Another thing I came across today, and brethren, honestly, I knew this, but somehow it did not resonate with me, and that is, as long as we are alive, as long as we're a human being in this world, we are going to have conflict. And it doesn't matter who you are. Mother and daughter, tell me. Sisters and brother, I grew up with 4 siblings, and we had conflict. Myself and my brother, oh my gosh, we used to fight. And sometimes my sisters try to fight me, but I didn't bother to fight them because I was taught not to fight my sisters, so I just didn't bother to fight them. I just walk away. So it doesn't matter who you are, pastors and brethren, oh, you're going to have conflict. Brethren to brethren, you're going to have conflict. Brethren, the bottom line is to me, this is an awareness that conflict is a part of who we are as human beings. Since Adam sinned, that's one of the effects of sin on all of us. Conflict is in our nature to fight. Understand? So we need to be aware of that. And once we are aware of that, we can sit back, we can go to work, we can live our life and ask ourselves, when is it going to happen? I'm not expecting it. I'm not going to look for it. But we can say to ourselves, conflict is going to happen. When I walk through the door at work, I know conflict is going to happen somewhere, somehow. It might not happen every day. When I go home sometimes from work, I enter the house, I saw the wife, I know there's a possibility something's going to happen. I'm aware of that. The difference is, brethren, it's that we know it's going to happen, but we should be able to manage it. Just like Abraham. He managed it well. One of my responsibility as a person, one of my responsibility as a husband, responsibility as a worker, my responsibility as a parent is to handle conflict. Whether it's between myself, my children, myself, my wife, my brother and my sister in the church, is to manage conflict. Right? Once we know that we have that as one of our main responsibility, it helps to make a lot of difference. Okay? It will make a lot of difference between us as brethren. Brethren, when we come to church and somebody do something that really ticked me off, and I said, I'm not expecting this from my brethren. Oh, my church brethren did this to me. Oh my gosh. Or maybe the pastor said something to me that I said, I can't believe the pastor said that to me. But once we understand these are things that are going to happen, then we know how to manage it. Here we go. I have this verse here which I find, I love this verse here. If any of you lack wisdom, you should ask of God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. James 1:5 NIV. So brethren, one of the things that will help us to manage conflict is to ask God for wisdom. When things happen, brethren, as Brother Tony rightfully said today, we shouldn't jump at it right away. We shouldn't be quick to answer. When we're in the heat of the moment, sometimes it's best to just think about it. Say nothing. Walk away. And when you walk away at this time, in your heart, in your mind, you're praying to God. God, give me wisdom, please, how to deal with this situation. At work, same thing. At church, same thing. Sometimes say nothing, but say to God, give me wisdom to deal with this situation. And believe me, brethren, I'm telling you, He give you wisdom. He will give you wisdom. I'm in situation many times. And people say something to me, whether it's in church or wherever, and brethren, believe me, I do like this, man. Myself together. And I said nothing, man. I said absolutely nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because I know if I answer you at that particular time, I'm going to end up regretting it. Or I might say something to hurt somebody. So guess what? I learned to say nada. I'm going to tell you something. I had an uncle when I first came to Canada. I used to live here. And we used to have conversation. And he used to say things sometimes that really upsets me. And brethren, I learned from, even before I came to Canada, I learned that. Sometimes when people say things, listen and say absolutely nothing. And even when they say something to hurt you, something that you dislike, you bow to them and say, yes, yes, yeah, that's fine, okay. And let you say nothing. So I learned to say nothing sometimes because in my mind, in my heart, I'm praying to God to give me wisdom. Because I know if I ask Him for wisdom, He'll give it to me. He'll tell me what to do. And brethren, trust me, try it. The Lord we serve is a living God. You understand? The Lord we serve is a relational God. He wants to have a relationship with you. And if you think God is not having a relationship with you, try it. Here. Next one. I promise you I'm not going to stay long. This is very interactive. Should be very interactive. The next one I like, brethren, is follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see God. See the Lord. Follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see God. Brethren, this challenges me. It's challenging. Sometimes it's hard to have peace with people because they keep poking you. They keep poking you. 24/7, they're poking you. At work, they're poking you. And you say to yourself, how can I have peace with them? And the Bible said, we should follow peace with all men. And if you don't know how to do it, brethren, if any man lack wisdom, When a man lacks wisdom, you should ask of God. If you don't know how to do it, ask him. That's all I can say, brethren. And he'll tell you how to do it. Alright? So when Sister Carla sits there looking at her because she probably is angry with me, man. I was told, oh. I'm sitting here, how should I deal with you? I said, God, help me, God. I don't know how to deal with her. I can only ask God to help me to deal with her. So, brethren, I'm challenging you. When you're in a situation where you don't know what to do, when you don't want to answer, when you know if you answer, you're going to have conflict, and it's going to make the situation get worse, say nothing. Just walk away. Amen. Okay, next part he said, looking diligently. Sorry, let me get back. Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. The Bible says we should seek peace and pursue it. Well, this is not an accident. Seek peace and pursue it. Okay, next. I like this one. I heard it from Tony today. I think I passed it so many times. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Slow to anger. Listen to what the person is saying. Listen to what the person has said. Think about what the person said. If you have nothing to say good at this point in time, just say nothing. Think about it. Go for a long walk. And ask God for wisdom. Amen. All right. So today we're going to have some scenarios, conflict management. It's going to be rather interactive. I'm not going to go through all of them. I think I have quite a few here, and I'm going to touch a little bit of it back. These are some scenarios that come across sometimes, brethren. It's not about you. So if you see something there that resembles you, it's not really about you. It's just some scenarios I pull up. I did, well, some of them I make them up. Some of them I ask, and I got something from others. So it's... All right. Okay. So this is the situation, Brendan. I don't want you to interact with me. Tell me how you would deal with this situation. Tell me how you would deal with this situation. I want to start from the bottom, really. Or maybe from the top. What do you say? Okay, I'll start from here. Okay, so Mary, who is a long-standing member of the church. Not our church, really. Suddenly stopped attending. No one has seen her for at least 5 months. Elder Joe bumps into, Joe? No. Elder Josie bumped into her at the local market, took her aside and asked her why he hadn't seen her for the last 5 months. Think about the scenario. She said, church members are gossiping about her because she worked sometime on Saturday and she could not take it anymore. People need to mind their own business and work out their own salvation. Therefore, I'd rather stay at home rather than cause problem. Now, how would you deal with a situation like this? Now, brother, I want you, based upon what we had, based upon what the conversation we had this morning, and based upon what we know now, we know that conflict is going to happen and all that stuff. How would you deal with that situation? Can I have somebody explain that to me? How would we deal with that situation? Okay. I tell you what, brethren, is interactive. So maybe, Pastor Josie would say to her, why don't you get some strength? Why don't you get some strength? That's how people are. You can't avoid it. put on the clothes and come to church next week. That'll be the easiest way to handle with it. It doesn't work right. Okay, how would you deal with that? No, speak. Don't be afraid. You can start up. Go ahead. Yeah, you can start. Yeah, just interact. You want to make interact.
Well,
Yes.
I would get in touch with her. I wouldn't,
Yeah.
because it seems like he came out too strong. And he's a pastor.
Yeah, you could use the mic.
Sorry, and he's a pastor. And he haven't seen her for a while. Yeah, first of all, you never say he went to her home to find out if she's okay. So that's very important, that they go to her home and find out if she's fine. Or maybe she could be sick, right? She could be sick and not that she don't want to come to church.
Yeah, but she turned
And
away.
when he
Yeah,
came there, she
yeah.
told him
Yeah.
the reason why.
Mhm.
I think you should sit down differently than what you just said. And just say to her, then, my sis, this is a church and things like could happen. So just keep in touch with God and come back and talk to us and so, because she must have known who say whatever what to say.
Right.
And tell the pastor that this person make her feel bad, so I just stay home for a little while, but my heart is in church. That's what, and then you should talk to her and tell her about it. I'm sorry, sis, and I will talk to whoever and so and so.
Yeah.
But what you said, he said, I don't think that sounds right to me.
Okay, that's fine. Anybody else? Yes. Let's hear how you would handle this situation.
I think, first of all, Elder Joe, if he is a very busy person,
Yeah.
he should have asked the secretary or somebody to call to see. I haven't seen Sister Mary. Can you check out and find out what's wrong with her?
Yeah.
Because it's a member of his flock. So it's his responsibility to first, don't wait until you bump her up in the supermarket to ask her. Your job to ask the secretary of the church if you're a very busy person, or the woman's department should actually, the lead of the head department, the women's department should at least find out what's wrong with Sister Mary.
Okay.
And, have a conversation with her instead of someone he had to bump into her to find out. No. If that person is a member of the flock, there should be a department or someone who should have been responsible for checking out who's missing.
That's right.
Can you find out what's wrong? No.
Okay. Yes, Sabrina.
First, I'm going to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this has happened to you.
Okay, good.
And then I'm going to say, I encourage you. I encourage her to come when she's off.
Yes.
And then remind her that it's a relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
Remind her it's a relationship with Christ.
Yes.
Then, when she does show up to church, I'm going to make sure that I interact with her, but also as the elder of the church, if I do hear comments, I'm going to address it.
Right.
And at the same time, I'm going to add a piece that says we're going to send someone that looks out for her. And the other part of it is, as the elder, we start to educate our brethren about when you see someone and you know about them going to work on the Sabbath. We educate our brethren how we should treat them and don't let them feel bad. So we address it in the church so it becomes public. We're not going to call name out. And we're going to say, if it does continue, then we're going to speak to individuals that are consistently doing these things.
Amen.
Right? So those are the ways.
Right.
We help her empathize with her situation.
Right.
We encourage her and we educate.
Amen. Thank you.
My only issue with this scenario is
Yes.
that she's saying that people are gossiping. Well, who's gossiping? It could possibly be, and I'm just saying,
Yeah, no problem.
it could possibly be that her conscience is bothering her. I'm not saying, and she's just saying people are gossiping. You know what I mean? It could be that extreme, but it could also be people are gossiping. But the point is, we need to test that to figure out if there's really gossiping or not. I'm not saying that right in that meeting there in that moment would be the time to test that. But before I go and start having conversations with the congregation, I need to see if that was valid or if this was something imagined. Because it could be a cognitive distortion.
Could be.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but we look at the situation for what it is.
Can I say too what
Yes.
he's saying?
Go ahead.
I'm reading it.
Standing member.
Right, I'm reading it to
A
that.
new person come in and, you know.
And we're saying what he should have done.
Right.
Who knows if she never answered the phone for the last 5 months, no matter how many times they called,
Go to her house.
right? Who knows if she didn't open the door? We're assuming that she's in the right and everybody else is in the wrong, while she is playing the victim game.
That's right.
Right? From the scenario, we need to understand there's two sides to everything here. He bumped into her, right? And said, I haven't seen you for the last 5 months. She could have said, oh, you've been tracking. You've been keeping track.
Right.
Right? That you know it's been 5 months.
Yeah.
Of course I know it's 5 months. You're important. I haven't seen you. And I've been wondering where you've been all of this time and stuff. Now that I bumped into you. And she said, oh, the church members are gossiping about me. I'm with Brother Tony 100% here. My first thing would have said, what have you heard and who did you hear it from? Right? Because sometimes to deal with the issue is not to pamper it, not to make people comfortable in their victim modes. Right? And that's hard. Right? And sometimes we don't want to confront situations to get it over with. We just want to pacify it and, as somebody said earlier on, I think Brother David, brush it under the... Time doesn't heal, you know, sometimes we have to confront the situation, and in this case, it's too open-ended to determine exactly how to handle it. Because if she is in a victim mode, making excuses, no matter how you deal with it, right? So I think we need a little bit more.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's yes. That's it. Okay, Sister Sims on the back. Yes.
And Pastor William. That lady that said she couldn't make an excuse, right? But I'm gonna tell you about something that I saw about this lady that she told her pastor
Yes.
that she's not gonna come back to church.
Right.
So the pastor asked her, what's the reason why she don't want to come back to church? And she said, Pastor, because when I come to church, I see people, they're gossiping, and some on their phone, and some not paying attention, and they're doing all kind of things in the church. All right. So the pastor said, let me tell you, sister, something, sister. Before you leave the church, when you come to church on Sunday, I'm going to give you a glass of water. And I want you to walk around the church 2 times, right? And when she walked around the church 2 times, the pastor said to her, did you see anybody gossiping? Hear anybody gossiping? She said, no. Said, did you see anybody on their cell phone? She said, no. Said, did you see anybody doing any other things and not listening to whatever is going around? And she said, no. So the pastor said, why didn't you see all these things? He said, because I was so busy that none of the water don't spill from the glass, that I didn't see anybody do. So the pastor said, when you come to church, don't watch what other people do. You come to serve God. Don't watch who is gossiping, who on their phone, or who is doing other things. So that's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Simple to the point.
I can talk about it, Mike. Right, and this is a very interesting scenario, right?
It is.
And one of the things I pointed out that I see in this one is that I'm listening to her tone, when she responded to the pastor, right? You know, and the things that she says, because, and not the pastor, but the elder. Listen to her tone. She said church members are gossiping about her because she works sometimes on Saturday. If you notice that, she's actually including the elder in it. I'm not sure if you see that, right? And her tone, and you know, she didn't say, okay, a brother or a sister, or so he said church members.
Right.
He's including everybody. If you notice that, even the yes. And you know, our pastor, Pastor D'Souza make a very valid statement, right? And this put me, because many of us are saying, you know, is it the church's fault or is it her fault, right? And this one is only talking about the Sabbath, right? But based on my knowledge, a lot of people are not coming here today, and it's not about them working on the Sabbath. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Recently, I heard from an individual, and the person is saying, you know what, because so and so said something, say this about me. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of people stop back because of what was said, and you know, and they heard that great. I'm not even going to go there. But the whole idea is, right? You should not allow anybody or any individual stop you from worshiping God.
Focus on the glass.
You understand what I'm saying? People will talk. People will gossip. You understand? I just recently I heard I heard, you know, my son, you know, Adrian said something to me, and it hurts. He said that the minute that the person said that to him, he feel like the earth will open and take him in. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So we need to bridle our tongue. If you don't have if you don't have anything good to say, I'm not going to this one say, put a sip on your mouth. You understand what I'm saying? Because it brings hurt and it brings long and you know, they destroy a lot of people like. And listen to me carefully, church, right? Brethren, right? When the minister is up there preaching, or somebody's up there giving an exhortation, or some brethren in the congregation stand up to give some form of encouragement or something, don't, you might not be agreeing, you might not agree with what they're saying. Keep your mouth shut, because guess what? This place, it's an enclosed place. And sometimes we make remarks and think nobody don't hear. People hear. Amen. You understand what I'm saying? So we here think that, okay, you know, every Sabbath I come, I sit down so sanctimonious and I'm doing this and that, right? But the things that comes out of your mouth when an individual is talking and people hear that, it causes damage. You understand what I'm saying? So if you don't have anything to say, just keep your mouth shut. Right? And I was saying, you know, Brother Liz was talking this morning, right? That, listen, people, and I'm not saying this that everybody is the same, right? Because some people, the more you run after them, is the further they go. You understand? But I agree with what Christ says, you know, with the prodigal father. He stayed home and he sit and he wait and he look. Because if he know that if he wants to run out there and what he's looking for his son, guess what happened? He's gonna go further and further, run away from it. You understand what I'm saying? But right now, right in this present situation, right now, right, there are people that are not coming here because of what people say to them. right? It's not about working on the Sabbath,
Yes.
but it's about the comments that they make.
Amen. Thank you. And that is rich. That is why we have to be very careful about the things we say, you know. And my mom used to say, offense will come, woe unto the one who causes it. Yes. So, brethren, we have a responsibility to bridle our tongue. Be careful of the things we say. Right? Think about the things you say before you actually say it. Very important. Think about the things you say. What we're going to say before we say. If you don't know what to say, brethren, as I said, just zip my lips, say nothing, walk away. Okay, brethren, I'm just going to do one more snare because I have a lot, but I'm not going to do all of them. I'm just going to be selective right now. I'm just going to... All right, here's another one. This one is Dave and his wife named Khalifi. They're both Christians, so bear that in mind. Dave, a hard-working businessman, comes home from work every day. Then he cooks, wash dishes, clean the kitchen while his wife Khalifa stays at home all day taking care of their 2-year-old child. Dave doesn't know how to say this to his wife. He feels frustrated, neglected, unappreciated, thinks she's lazy, and he's seriously thinking about divorcing her. How would you deal with that situation? Wait. Let's see what you got to say, man.
That was coming. That's a husband. Just stay home and let the wife go work and see how he deal with it. He could do one thing.
Conflict resolution.
So that's how you would resolve this conflict, right? So Dave, stay home and take care of the kids and let your wife go to work. Easy to say that because we don't know what kind of job the wife would have gotten, but he obviously the businessman, he has a very good job and he comes home, but he has to stay home and he has to come home and cook and do every little thing and blah blah blah. Sister, yes. Yes, that's good, right?
I would find out why she's not doing any of the other stuff. Why the child is taking so much of the day and she's not doing anything. First, I would find out why.
Okay.
There has to be a reason.
Okay, good. We're talking about conflict resolution here, conflict management. The thing is, by default, they expect that, you know, he comes home, she would like, at least cook some food, you know what I'm talking about? At least cook some food, man, and you know, I'm outside all day working hard, man. At least cook. You know, he expect that.
First thing I would do, T-Book,
Yeah.
I would take her phone and cut off the TV. That's what I would do. Because I don't think she's lazy. I know she is. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I heard what somebody said, send her to work. We got 1 2-year-old kid.
One.
One day or 2-year-old child.
Yeah.
One child.
Yeah.
And this, according to the scenario, every day.
Yes.
Every day.
Yes.
Come on, man. She lazy bad and she watching too much TV and on the phone chatting.
But you think that would resolve the issue?
No,
You think that would resolve the issue? No. Okay, let's hear what you have to say.
Divorce is not the solution.
Yeah.
First of all, housework is a job. Housework is a job by itself.
But she's not doing
That's
it.
one
She's not
job.
doing it. She's not doing it.
But isn't there something about the housework there?
No, he's
Not
doing
doing
it.
it. He's doing it. He's cooking, washing, cleaning.
So maybe she has a mental problem.
A TV problem and a phone problem and a
If she's sitting at home every day,
every day.
doing nothing,
Every day.
maybe it could be she could have a problem.
Sure.
No, sometimes it's just small to it could be anything. It could be mental
Okay, yeah, Sister Tony, I thought Sister Tony wanted to say.
Yes, but Sister Fancy
Okay, yeah.
Okay. We are saying this and saying that, right? Do you think that this could be an agreement they made before they get married?
No, not according to the last
No.
sentence.
No.
Yes, I did. I read it. But this could be an